A controversial statue stays in place, local businesses are in the holiday swing, and felony numbers are falling. This is OU Nightly. Good evening and thank you for joining us here on OU Nightly. I'm Sydney Forsee.
And I'm Madeline Roberts. We begin with the end to what's been quite the controversy on campus this fall. The covered wagon statue that you are seeing right now was installed outside Gaylord College in October, and despite controversy, it is staying put. The artist of this statue, William M. Obering, is considered controversial by many student groups. He was said to have adopted a dog from a shelter, tied it up, and then shot it on camera, calling the action a form of art.
Several student organizations, many from within Gaylord College, petitioned to have the statue removed. The university recognized the attempt and released plans for how donated artwork will be vetted in the future. The student group says it's not what they wanted, but they are still glad to hear the announcement.
We weren't contacted directly by the university, but we still appreciate to hear from them. We think that, the time has shown that they've actually looked into the issue and they've kind of come up with a reasonable response from their side, and we're excited that things will change going forward.
The university says it will seek approval from the Board of Regents to put a new plan into place.
Well, Sydney, it's been pretty warm outside these past couple of days.
It has, and it's been feeling great. And Nash Rhodes is here with more on the weather. Nash?
Yeah, that's right, guys. It's been feeling great, and that's because this warming trend has really continued. Over the last 24 hours, as you can see here, we've increased in temperature over most of central Oklahoma. Here in Norman, we're 3 degrees above where we were yesterday. Ardmore about 8 degrees, and we'll continue this trend over the next few days, at least until we run into some severe weather, that is. And I'll have your severe weather chances coming right up, as well as how that's going to affect your travel down south to the Big 12 championship, and even a chance of snow right ahead. Back to you two at the desk.
Thanks, Nash. The president's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, appeared in court today after violating his plea agreement. Mariah Conduff is live from the News Center with more updates. Mariah?
Thanks, Madeline. Earlier today, Michael Cohen appeared before a federal judge in New York and pleaded guilty to lying to Congress. The charge was brought by special counsel Robert Mueller, who was investigating Russian interference in the presidential election. President Donald Trump's former lawyer admitted he lied about negotiating a real estate deal in Moscow on Trump's behalf during his campaign for the Republican nomination. Cohen made the false statements in 2017 in testimony before Senate and House Intelligence Committees. Cohen says Trump was personally aware of the deal. According to Cohen, Trump signed a letter of intent and discussed it with him on 2 occasions. In response, President Trump says he did nothing wrong and that Cohen is lying to save himself.
He's a weak person, and what he's trying to do is get a reduced sentence. So he's lying about a project that everybody knew about.
And following Cohen's plea in court, President Trump abruptly cancels his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin just 2 days before the meeting was supposed to take place. While heading to the G20 summit in Buenos Aires, Trump pinned the cancellation on Russia's refusal to release Ukrainian Navy ships on Sunday. The president said he was canceling the meeting just 1 hour after telling reporters he believed it was a very good time to have a meeting. And a bill to protect special counsels such as Robert Mueller was blocked on the Senate floor once again.
Thank you, Mariah. And the holidays are right around the corner, which means it's prime time to shop. Nightly's Abby Green is live on Main Street with a look at how local businesses are doing this season. Abby?
The holiday season is in full swing here on Main Street. The streets are lined with tinsel and lights, and local business owners are hoping people shop with their feet and not with their hands online. Some say it's the most wonderful time of the year. But is that the case for local business owners? With many things to buy and many places to shop, local businesses are once again in competition with online retailers. Norman local shop Sandalwood and Sage has remained in business for 25 years and continues to see growth in sales.
People are searching for something special. They're not quite sure what it is, so they look around and aha. And that's not the kind of experience you get online. You go through page after page after page of pictures, but here they can actually feel it, touch it, see it, smell it.
The Norman Chamber of Commerce reached out to shoppers across the community through social media and other ways to emphasize the benefits of shopping locally.
Often you can lose track of the fact of the importance of spending your dollars locally and the impact that has not only on salaries, wages, our local economy, but also how we fund our local government services.
Although retail continues to evolve, the Chamber is confident that local retail in Norman will continue to grow in the digital age.
Main Street businesses, whether it be high-tech, retail, service industry, they're alive and well. And while they're competing, it's created a new wrinkle for them. Often the overhead's less because if you're online, you don't have the overhead of a building. Sometimes you don't have as many employees as traditional retail does. But I think that local retail is competing quite well.
Local business owners say one of the keys to their success is the one-on-one relationship with the customer that you can't get online. Back to you.
Thank you, Abby. And Oklahoma dispensaries are causing sticker shock. Supply and demand is affecting prices in a large way.
Plus, OU Nightly's Kyle Payne joins us live with the newest OU Student Government Association president. Don't go anywhere.
The next president of OU Student Government took office today. Nightly's Kyle Payne joins us now with our newest student leader. Kyle.
Thanks, guys. I'm here today with newly elected SGA President Adrian Gibbs. Adrian, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
First
Happy
off,
to be here.
yeah, congratulations on getting the win. And I want to ask, what are some of your goals as SGA's new president, and how was your role on Sherbaji's team sort of helped you evolve your plans?
Yeah, I think one of the goals is to make sure that, we have a new president here with President Gallagly, so we've had the opportunity to kind of meet with him. Because he's a new president, that means there's a lot of challenges. So we've seen a lot of the changes going on, whether it was layoffs or just internally, there's a lot of shakeups. So one of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that students are having an active voice in these decisions if it affects us directly. That's something that we haven't necessarily got in the past. So one of the things that we're trying to do now is just making sure that there are students at the table being represented. One of the things that we're trying to do personally, on a different note, is we're trying to renovate the Starkey's Fitness Center or the Huston Huffman Center. So one of the things that we could look at doing is giving the Huff a paint job, because it's, we have concrete gray walls in there and it's just boring. If you go to other Big 12 schools, they have really, really nice gyms. There are definitely some small things we could do to make our gym whether bigger or better.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the meeting with Gallagly, what were some of the key takeaways from that as far as just communication with the students and communication through SGA? Yeah,
well, that was the center note that we were hitting on, was communication. So in the past, it was really difficult for any student to be able to meet with OU presidents in general, and that's not anyone's fault. That's just a difference of leadership styles. So one of the things that that we really tried to touch on was this idea of shared governance, which Gallagly is really for. He's for the idea of shared governance. He's for the idea of making sure that students are in the talks. Of course, we can always work out some kinks. It definitely could go more smoothly, but that was the major thing that we hit on, is setting a precedent for making sure that students are involved at every point of the way.
Are you hoping that as SGA president, you and your team will be able to serve as sort of a middle ground between the administration and the students here?
Absolutely. So as an elected official or as SGA president, it's really important to understand that students always come first. That is what we run on, and that is what we serve as the elected capacity of SGA president. We want to make sure that students are being represented.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks so much, and back to you, Madeline.
Thanks, Kyle. A study released yesterday by a criminal justice research group shows a nearly 30% drop in the number of felonies filed by Oklahoma prosecutors since July of last year. In July 2017, the Oklahoma voter-approved law went into effect that made many drug and property crimes misdemeanors. The number of felony drug crime cases in 2018 has dropped by almost 75%, while the number of felony property crime cases has dropped by about 30%.
Price stickers at dispensaries are shocking Oklahomans and their wallets. A gram of marijuana will cost consumers up to $30, while an ounce can cost up to $400 or more at most dispensaries. Demand is high, but federal law stating marijuana must be grown in-state has caused difficulties for growers and an upcharge in their prices. The price of cannabis is likely to drop in 2019.
A new drug to treat cancer has been approved by the FDA. Tori King has the latest on this week's Health Beat. Tori?
The FDA has approved a drug that takes a new approach to treating cancer. Traditionally, cancer has been treated on where it is in the body, but this new drug, larotrectinib, aims to treat tumors genetically. It targets a specific mutation gene known as TKR, which is found in malignant tumors. Another benefit of the drug is that it's taken in pill form, making it the first of its kind. In clinical trials, patients often saw their tumors shrink in a matter of days. And doctors hope this pill will lead to new innovations in how they treat cancer in the future. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention also said that an increase in suicides and drug overdoses are two factors that brought overall life expectancy down for the U.S. In 2017 alone, overdosing contributed to more than 70,000 deaths, a new high. The suicide rate also increased that year and was up by 3.7%. Death rates for white males have increased by 6% and have also increased by 9% for white females. Other populations haven't experienced these same increases. And everyone knows that finals can be tough in college, so I have 5 ways to help eliminate stress this upcoming dead week. First, get good amounts of sleep. Sleep can affect attention span and focus, so make sure to get at least 8 hours of sleep a night. 2, avoid drinking copious amounts of caffeine because too much caffeine can increase heart rate and make people feel more stressed than they actually are. Study in areas that are comfortable in, and that the atmosphere is something that can help you study better for more success. Keep things in perspective because you're worth more than your grades, and take breaks often. Hang out with friends, pet dogs, watch a happy movie, but don't underestimate the power of a break. And y'all, speaking of movies, I heard Hallmark has released 25 new movies, so I know where I will be spending my study breaks, catching up on a few of those.
Yeah, who says you can't watch Christmas movies during finals week? You want to get in the holiday spirit while you're studying, am I right?
Absolutely, it's better for you.
They're cheesy, they all have the same plot, but they still make you want to watch them for some reason.
They do? Well, now you have a reason to.
Thank you, Tori.
Thanks, Tori.
Absolutely.
A handful of Sooners are set to make the Big 12 All-American team, including Heisman hopeful Kyler Murray, coming up on OU Nightly.
And Nash has another look at today's weather.
That's right, severe weather and even a snow chance up ahead. I'll have you covered coming right up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Here's a live look at our Oklahoma City tower cam. As you can see, we've got mostly clear skies, a few clouds up in the very high levels, but these weren't even here this afternoon. The main story right now, though, is this warming trend as we're up into 63 degrees right now. And as we look at our regional temperatures, notice Norman is well above Oklahoma City's temperature by quite a bit. And as you work even further south, look at this, Ardmore at 74, Lawton at 75 degrees. So a huge change in temperature across the state. That's not going to affect things tonight, as everybody will pretty much be in the upper 30s or lower 40s for the most part, unless you live out in the Panhandle. Here in Norman, 43 degrees, about 8 degrees above average for this time of year. And again, those winds will be at about 4 to 8 miles per hour, so it might be a little bit chilly tonight. You might want to wear a jacket. Now, we do have rain chances on the way. We'll start to see some clouds creep into the forecast overnight tonight. However, this area of low pressure is going to be our next weather maker. It'll roll right off the Rockies into Oklahoma as early as Friday afternoon. And as it does, lots of warm air and moisture will move into our state, which will fuel tomorrow's severe weather setup. Here's a look at 3 o'clock. We can time this out. We'll start to see a few scattered showers develop right around 6 o'clock into 8, just south of Oklahoma City here in Norman. You can see all along I-35 for the most part we have some showers. So if you're planning on going down to Dallas for the Big 12 championship game, this might be a rough commute. You might run into a few showers, and some of them could be on the stronger side. Meanwhile, for the remainder of the entire system, it is pretty much going to push off to the west and leave us with mostly clear skies in the overnight hours on Friday night. The Storm Prediction Center does have a risk, though. However, for tomorrow, it is an enhanced risk for areas in the southeastern portion of the state. It does include Idabel and McAllister. This is a 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. It includes damaging straight line wind gusts and perhaps some large hail. Here in central Oklahoma, Norman is only under a 2 out of 5 risk for that. Looking forward, though, over the next 2 days, once again, those rain chances do swing through before Saturday. We drop into the 60s, and looking at this 7-day forecast, the big story is going to be that we continue to drop all the way down into the 50s and even have some snow chances throughout the next upcoming week, and even have a low of 20 or so some odd degrees coming right up. But guys, snow chances in the forecast. It's crazy.
It's exciting, and it's really setting the mood for the Christmas season. Am I right?
It's surprising since it's been pretty warm outside recently.
Yeah, we're seeing 70s, and suddenly we're going to just flip into snow. It's crazy.
Thank you, Nash.
Thanks.
And there are only 3 days left until the Sooners meet the Longhorns in Dallas. Brooke Murski has more on what lies ahead for the boys in Crimson and Cream. Brooke.
The Big 12 title is on the line. We'll hear from one of the players on how the team plans to shut Texas down. Here in Oklahoma, the Thunder had a big night last night. Sports is straight ahead. The last time the Sooners and Longhorns met twice in the same football season was 1903. On Saturday, the two rivals will do it again, this time with the Big 12 title on the line. For OU, it might also mean a spot in the college football playoff. Cal Day reports on what the much-maligned Sooner defense has up their sleeve.
Hello, Texas, my old friend. The Sooners and Longhorns will meet for the second time this season, this time for the Big 12 championship. Now, in that first meeting back in October, the OU defense surrendered over 500 yards of total offense from the Longhorns, including 48 points. Now, that game ultimately led to the end of the Mike Stoops era at Oklahoma. This time around, the defense says they've watched the film and they're going to make some adjustments.
We obviously made some mistakes in that game and stuff like that, but we had a lot of stuff that we could build on. And we obviously had some good things that we did in that game. So, you took away the positives and the negatives, and we just built on it and got better as a group. So, I'm just excited to get a chance to go out there and fight for a Big 12 championship this week.
Now, as has been the case with OU Texas in the past, the Golden Hat was also on the line. That's not the case this time. It's only for the Big 12 championship, and that game kicks off at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. Cal Day, OU Nightly.
OU cleaned up when the Big 12 postseason awards were announced. Quarterback Kyler Murray leads 7 Sooners on the conference first team. No surprise that 3 of his blockers made it as well. The only defender with all conference honors is linebacker Kenneth Murray. Cornerback Trey Brown was named for special teams, not defense, and Carson Meyer and Bobby Evans are also second-teamers. The Oklahoma City Thunder took care of business last night with a 100-83 victory over the Cavs. Russell Westbrook had one of his best all-around performances, scoring 23 points, tallying 19 rebounds, and 15 assists. He shot 10 from 17 from the floor and 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. Tomorrow, the Thunder face OU alum Trae Young and the Hawks in OKC. Kyle Korver is headed to Utah for a second time. Korver has been one of the most pursued available players on the trade market. The Cavs traded Korver to the Jazz for guard Alec Burks and 2 future second-round picks. At 9 and 12, Utah is hopeful that Korver will improve shooting as he averages 46% from three-point range. On week 13 of Thursday Night Football, the Saints travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. The Cowboys will try to pull ahead in the NFC East race with a 4th straight win. They may be first in their division, but the Saints are coming in hot at 10 straight wins this season. The Saints average a league-high 37.2 points per game. Kickoff is at 8:20. Now, I hope you had a better Wednesday night than Roy Williams. After his North Carolina Tar Heels were routed by Michigan, Roy sounded like a man at the end of his rope.
The job that the head coach is doing with this team. Right now, we stink. Guys, I got no positive things. If you want some positive things, you better go out and find somebody on the street, because I got no positive for me, no positives for my team. It was because they stunk it up. Every one of them stunk it up, and so did I. Guys, I've coached for 31 years. Right now, my coaching sucks.
That's a little disappointing to hear, don't you think?
Just a little bit.
Thank you, Brooke. Still to come on OU Nightly, we'll take a look at the game day weather forecast in Dallas.
And see how much people are willing to pay for their shoes. Stay with us.
Nightly Update Desk with the latest on a Thanksgiving shooting in Alabama. A week after an innocent man believed to be the suspect of a mall shooting in Alabama was killed by police, authorities charged Aaron Martez Daquan Brown in the shooting of Brian Xavier Wilson. Brown faces charges of 1 count of attempted murder. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kelsey. Social media influencers work to influence the items we as consumers buy, but check out what Payless did to stump them.
The discount shoe retailer opened a fake store called Forsee and invited social media influencers to try on Payless shoes. The catch was they had no idea the shoes were not designer. So Payless upped their $20 to $40 shoes to $200 and $800, and they sold. I just want to see their expression when they found out they were actually, paid so much for $20 shoes.
I'm sure they felt pretty silly about that.
Yeah, I know I would.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30 for our last newscast.
Have a great evening.
Good night.